All right. The White House feeling the pressure over all of their overreaching COVID mandates. Yesterday, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki was responding to a reporter's question about the reason why President Biden is more cautious than others in moving past the pandemic and moving back to some form of normalcy. Clip number 2, please.
He's basing his decision on what the advice of our health and medical experts continues to be, and the fact that they are continuing to evaluate and look at the data and the science, and that is a commitment he made to the American people at the beginning.
Oh, there's so much to unpack in that. He's evaluating, or he's listening to those who evaluate the data and the science. So he's listening to Dr. Fauci, who, still hasn't even acknowledged the role of natural immunity, which a new study came out. We talked about it last week, or at the beginning of this week. But I'm going to go back to the commitment he made to the American people at the beginning. Play clip number 4, please.
I'm going to ask the public for 100 days to mask. Just 100 days to mask. Not forever, 100 days.
So much for commitments to the American people. Well, governors and other state leaders are not waiting. Yesterday, Virginia House Speaker Todd Gilbert said the state's House of Delegates would vote as soon as possible on a bill that gives parents the ability to allow their children to opt out of their school's COVID-19 mask mandates, something that the state's new governor, Glenn Youngkin, tried to do in an executive order, but was blocked from doing so last week by an Arlington judge. Joining me now to talk about the effort and where it stands, Virginia is in the Virginia House, is State Delegate Dave LaRock. Dave, welcome to Washington Watch.
Great to be with you, Tony.
So you guys are taking the bull by the horns and moving forward with this. Give us a status.
Well, there's a saying down here that we aren't always first, but we try not to be last. It kind of feels like we're last coming into this. So many people have realized that these masks are, if they were ever needed, they certainly aren't needed anymore. But in a rare moment of bipartisanship, a bill came out of the Senate. I guess you know about that, Senate Bill 379. And after Senator Peterson offered an amendment, that was a real good turn in the right direction. And so the House amended a mask bill that was already in motion to be identical to the Senate's bill. That'll be before a committee tomorrow around 9 o'clock. I'll be very pleased to press yes in favor of that. And then we'll be off to the governor. I guess he will sign that right away. Now, I don't think it becomes law until July, but I think it will send a very solid message and perhaps cause the school districts to realize that we're past the point where they're making the decisions and that the parents are the ones that should be in charge. The governor made that promise on the campaign trail. He kept his promise by signing his first executive order January 15th, the day he was elected to end this practice that was put in place by former Governor Northam and his health commissioner. So we're moving in the right direction. I think we're going to get it right here pretty soon.
Well, Dave, I want to underscore what you said about the Senate, because the Senate there in Virginia is still controlled by the Democratic Party. And so you had to have Democrats to join this effort. And so you had 3 Democrats who joined in this effort to give parents the right to choose what their children would do. So I think that shows that this, as you said, is becoming really a nonpartisan issue. It's becoming an issue of protecting freedom, rights, and trying to get the society back to normal.
Couldn't agree with you more. Back to normal is a phrase we toss around, and it's going to take a long time. But subjecting these poor young kids, they were out of school, missed a lot of opportunity to be learning for a year because of the pandemic, and then to allow them back in school and tell them they have to wear this cloth across their face. There's all sorts of detrimental effects, not the least of which is, I think it's unsanitary and cuts down the flow of oxygen to their brains. And it's just not a healthy thing to be doing. Now in the county that I'm from, Loudoun County, the superintendent has made it pretty clear that kids that come to school won't be allowed on school grounds, which is actually violates a law we passed last year to get kids back in school, requiring that they be given a full-time in-person education. So there's a lot of legal things in play here, a lot of court action, but we just need to, I think if we pass this bill tomorrow, we will be over the hump, and the message will be clear that the will of the legislature has been expressed, and that we're going to put masks in the rearview mirror, except for the people that want to wear masks. And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think this will send a strong message that those face diapers, that's a thing of the past, not doing it anymore, giving people the choice. We got a lot of listeners and viewers in Virginia. What can they do to help out?
Well, I have to say, Tony, I never like to miss a call to action, but I would say at this point, they can thank the legislature for doing the right thing. I'm quite sure the governor is going to sign that bill as soon as he can. And I think it's really, if you're going to encourage anybody, it would be to encourage your local school board if they haven't gotten on board and rescinded any policies they have requiring masks. This has makes it completely a local issue. They're going to have to make that choice. And if your school board isn't there already, I would encourage parents to contact their school board and help them wake up to the need to change any mandatory policies to make it a parental right, a parental decision, as it should have been in the first place.
All right, Dave LaRock, thanks so much for joining us, and appreciate your good work.
Thank you, former delegate.